Hey everyone, I'm Johnny Z. Welcome to Rather Be Riffing. So in this video, I'm going to compare the PRS DGT with the PRS 594 model. So I think it's fair to say that these two models are among PRS's most popular vintage voice offerings. So I was really curious to compare the two, and ultimately, I'm trying to decide whether to add a DGT back into my collection. So as always, I'll be super curious for your observations. What similarities, what differences are you hearing, and ultimately, which one did you prefer? Let me know in the comments below. So in this video, I'll do a quick overview of the specs of each guitar and the story behind this particular DGT. I'll do some A-B sound comparisons. And at the end of the video, I'll do an A-B comparison of both guitars in the context of the intro music. So before diving into the sound comparisons, I wanted to revisit the opening track, having the 594 play the rhythm part and the DGT playing the lead part. So let's check out what that sounds like. So I'll start with the specs of the guitars. Up first is the PRS DGT. This is a 2013 model. This one is finished in Livingston Lemon Drop. It has a beautiful 3D quality to it, and you can see a lot of grain going horizontally as well as vertically. You can see a lot of growth lines in the maple. I'll do some close-ups of that. Really cool top. It has the usual mahogany back and neck. Some of the unique features on the DGT: it has the tremolo, a 3-knob layout, ability to split the humbuckers. And the DGT has treble bleeds on the volume controls, as well as a 25-inch scale length. And the DGT has jumbo frets and locking tuners. As for pickups, this has the signature David Grissom model pickups. And so while I'm talking about the DGT, I wanted to share the story behind this particular one. I'm not the owner, I'm borrowing the guitar, but once upon a time, it was mine. I bought it originally brand new back in 2013 from Wilcut Guitars. And I had it for about 5 years, really enjoyed owning it, but I decided to move it on to help finance the acquisition of my former PRS private stock 594 single cut guitar that I featured in my last video series. And so a couple tips there when you're in the position where you're moving a guitar on. I find it's always easier to sell a guitar if you're able to sell the guitar to somebody you know. I always give first right of refusal to friends and family, and I usually offer it at a really attractive price in hopes to try to keep the guitar in the family. And so in this case, my father always loved this guitar and he happily purchased it from me. And so now I have access to it and he's kindly let me borrow it to make this video. So thanks, Dad. As for the 594 specs, we've got a 2-piece maple top, mahogany back and neck. This one has a Brazilian rosewood fingerboard as opposed to the East Indian rosewood fingerboard on the DGT. This has the PRS stop tail and tune-o-matic, the TCI 8515 low turn pickups, and the ability to split coils of each pickup individually. The 594 has a 24.594 scale length. While I'm not sure exactly what the fret dimensions are, these are not jumbo frets. They're frets that are more typical of what you would find on a vintage Gibson Les Paul style guitar. And of note, the 594 does not have treble bleeds on the volume controls. As for my signal chain today, I'm running a stereo rig with 2 Fender Blackface style amps. I'm using a 2-rock Bloomfield drive along with a Blankenship Twinplex. Any gain that you hear will be from pedals that I'll describe within each section of the video. I'm running both amps into Shure reactive loads with 4x12 impulse responses. So let's dive into the sound comparisons. Up first, I'm going to do some bluesy licks in the key of B, and I'll toggle through all 3 pickups, the neck, middle, and bridge. I'm going to roll the neck pickup down slightly for a cleaner sound, and then you'll hear the gain increase when I go to the middle position and the bridge position. And for this clip, I'm going to kick on my Vemram Jan Ray for some light overdrive and boost that with a exotic soul-driven Andy Hines pedal. So let's check that out. All right, so I thought both guitars did the job really well here. However, the DGT with the longer scale length at 25 inches gives a really different playing experience. The strings feel like they have a bit more tension and snap, whereas the 594 has a slinkier feel. I think folks that are more used to playing Gibsons will feel right at home on the 594, whereas the 25-inch scale length, it doesn't quite feel like a Fender, it doesn't quite feel like a Gibson, it's somewhere in between. And I think you really have to play one to decide if that works for you. And so up next is one of my favorite ways to use the DGT, and that is using the pickup selection as a way to go from clean to dirty. And how I do that is by starting with the neck position and rolling the volume back to clean up the sound, and I run the volume full on the bridge. And so in effect, when I switch from neck to bridge, the guitar increases in gain substantially. And as for the gain staging, I'm running 2 pedals to get more of a medium/high gain type of gain sound. I'm running a Vemoram Janray along with a Vemoram Shanks ODS1. So let's check that out. All right, so what I noticed right off the bat there is that for the high gain sound, both guitars sounded really bright and clear in the bridge position. Things were quite different in the neck position, I thought. On the DGT, it retained a lot of top end clarity with the neck volume rolled back for a cleaner sound, whereas the 594 with the volume rolled back lost some high end, so it was a warmer sound. Thought both really usable tones, but if you're the type of player that likes to retain that top end clarity at any gain stage when using the volume, the DGT I think has a clear advantage there. All right, so up next I'm going to demonstrate the clean tones of these guitars utilizing all 6 pickup positions within the DGT. So we'll start out in the neck, move to the middle, go to the bridge. You'll see me reach down and split the coils, play in the bridge split, back to the middle split, and then finally end with a neck split. And then I'll run through the equivalent pickup positions using the 594 immediately after that. And so I think that shows that both of these guitars have a broad range of usable sounds, and the split coil sounds are really musical and usable in both instruments. So one thing you may have noticed in the video that's quite different between the two guitars is that the DGT is much simpler to access the split coil sounds. There's one master push-pull that splits both coils simultaneously. Whereas with the 594, it has individual push-pull pots for each of the pickups. The cool thing is you can split one coil and not the other, and vice versa. And that opens up to 12 different pickup configurations versus the 6 of the DGT. However, the trade-off is it's a bit more cumbersome to reach down and have to navigate 2 different knobs to split the coils compared to the one with the DGT. And so while we're on the subject of splitting the coils, you may be wondering, how usable are the split sounds? How close are they to the more iconic single coil sounds that you can get from a Stratocaster as an example? And so what I thought would be helpful is to take a Hendrix-inspired rhythm part on the neck pickup and demonstrate that before the coil split and after the coil split with both guitars. And so I'll start out with the DGT in full humbucker mode in the neck position. Then you'll see me split the coil. Then I'm going to grab the 594. And I will start out with the 594 already split, so it'll be directly comparable with the previous DGT sample. And then I'll finish off by putting the 594 in full humbucker mode so we can hear the difference. Let's check it out. So I'm really curious what you thought of the split coil sounds here. Did you find them musical? Did you find them usable? What did you think? Let me know. All right, so up next is one of my favorite pickup positions. That is the middle position. And I wanted to play something a little more delicate here using some light overdrive. So I'll be using the Vemram Janray only. And I'll be splitting the coils on the DGT. And I'll be splitting the bridge pickup coil only on the 594. So let's hear what that sounds like. I'm actually more curious to dive deeper into comparing the DGT with other classic guitars. David Grissom himself in several interviews talks about wanting to be able to achieve several different tones with one guitar. So let me know if you'd be interested in a video where I compare the DGT to a Strat, to a Tilly, to a Les Paul, to a Gretsch, to see how well it can approximate some of those other guitars' vibes. And so up last, I wanted to compare both of these guitars in the context of a mix. So let's revisit the intro music, and I'll A/B both guitars throughout that entire piece of music. And let me know what jumps out to you. Any similarities, any differences, any strong preferences one way or the other. Let me know. All right, so that wraps it up. I'm really curious for your thoughts and observations. Would you add a DGT to the collection if you already have a 594? Let me know what you think. And I'm happy to offer up a few of my personal observations now having made this video. I found the DGT had more output on average than the 594. So if you're looking for a guitar that has a bit more push, that guitar may be a better match. But if you like the sweeter, lower gain PAF classic humbuckers, I thought the 594 really excelled in that area. I also felt the DGT, due to the longer scale length being 25 inches versus the 24.594, it had more string tension and more snap. So that was a really different vibe and playing experience to account for when choosing between these two different guitars. I happen to like the 594 scale length. It's a little slinkier feeling, and that's easier for me to transition from my other Gibson style guitars. And so lastly, one of the killer advantages that I love about the DGT is the treble bleeds on the volume controls. I feel like add a extra layer of versatility to this guitar because it gives a broader usable range to each of the pickups when it comes to gain staging. And there's just a lot of different magical blends that you can use that I just didn't have the full time to cover in this video. And so if you're interested in learning more about that, let me know and I can feature that in an upcoming video. And as always, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If so, please consider subscribing, liking, or commenting. It would really help get the content out to others that may enjoy it as well. In the meantime, take care and I'll see you in the next video.